Hello listeners, it's me, Dr. Benji from For the Fun Show, and as ever, I'm joined by my two favourite friends. Keeno, how are you?
Favourite friends?
Favourite friend?
Who's the favoritist?
Friend, singular.
I mean, I haven't got between you both, I think you probably equate to like one actual real life friend.
Huh.
I'll take. Oh, that's really sweet of you. Right, should we do a podcast?
I mean, I think that's actually probably insulting because I've met you in real life, Jack.
That's true. That's true. I'm well offended.
Jack, virtually, I match up to you in the friendship stakes.
Yeah. Right, Jack. Hello. You're here as well.
I am. Hello.
Hi. Now, because we've been lacking a feature in recent weeks, so we're going to do a bit of an extended feature to make up for all those weeks that Keeno wasn't here, which obviously, of course, means it's this week's Feature of the Week. Excited?
I like to believe in the shower. Like every week, you come up with a theme tune for the upcoming week's podcast.
Yeah. I just always think of one. I always like to get a bit of a rift going, Jack. Yes. So, shall we get to business and decide on...
I must say, Ben, I'm quite excited for the feature this week. Not because I know what's coming, but it's been a while.
You don't know what's coming, actually, do you? Just to confirm. You don't know what's coming.
I'm quite...
I mean, this almost sounds like you two have been plotting while I've not been around.
No, we haven't. Honestly, we haven't.
Okay, so the way we're going to do it this week, boys, is because of there's a bit of a rivalry coming up later, and we'll be talking about it in the show, between Cristiano Ronaldo and Gareth Bale. So what we're going to do is play kind of a form of top trumps with Ronaldo and Bale as the feature this week. Confused?
I'm not yet.
Okay. Basically, I'm going to tell you like the sort of the thing we're going to compare them both. It's basically a comparison thing, and you're going to tell me if you want Ronaldo or Bale, and you want obviously the highest number.
Can we
wins.
both pick the same one and opposite?
Well, no. You just pick that round, and if you don't get it, the other person gets the point.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Simple as that. So we will start with Keeno.
Right.
Keeno. They start off quite easy, I should say. Who has had the most minutes played? Is it Ronaldo or Bale? Just remember, we're looking for the highest amount every time.
Is this in the Euros?
At the
Euros.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Euros.
I was going to say, all time.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, all time.
All time.
Age would be a factor.
Ronaldo, surely. I'm sure.
Well, they played extra time, so yes.
Yeah.
Correct. 510 minutes for Ronaldo, 443 for Gareth Bale.
Have they both? I don't know if you have this. Have they both been ever present? Has Bale been subbed off? I'm just trying to think though.
I don't think Bale's been subbed off. No, he's played.
No, it's just through the extra time.
Yeah.
Then.
So that's a point. Jack, over to you. This time we're going to compare goals scored. Who's got more in this tournament? Is it Bale or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Incorrect. Point to Keeno.
We are a Euro 2016 podcast.
Is it 3-2?
Yeah, in favour of Bale.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
Okay, Keeno.
I was thinking, Bale's got a free kick. I was counting in my head. I was like, I can only think of two for Bale, so it must be Ronaldo with
Because
three.
do you know why? Because the other game he scored in, you were watching England's diabolical performance against Slovakia.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. There's my excuse, viewers. Bailed out.
Keeno, over to you. Assists.
Oh.
It's fun. It's fun. It's just a fun feature, everyone.
Yeah, this is quite fun. I think, well, it depends whether Bale got an assist for that own goal. I think he might have done. I'm going to say Bale again.
Bale didn't get the assist for the own goal.
Oh, no. But did he get the top trumps win?
Ronaldo has 1 assist. Gareth Bale has 0 assists.
Oh.
Sorry. So point to Jack. Jack's back in it. Total shots, Jack.
Ronaldo.
Gareth Bale has 21 total shots.
Definitely Ronaldo. Right.
Ronaldo, want to have a guess? In 4 games?
40. I was about to say 45.
36. So 9 a game.
Oh, God.
And
one every 10 minutes.
Should be clarified. It is 9 a game. It is 9 a game. And he didn't have a shot against Croatia. I mean,
that's very
make that what you
restrained of him.
Actually, is it 5 games? No, 5 games. Yeah, I think it is. So that's a point to Jack. Well done, Jack.
That's 3-1 to me.
That's 2-2. 2-2 right there. Back over to Keeno. Shots on target.
Bale and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Still
Bale.
Because I think Ronaldo had a funny stat where he I didn't think he had a shot on target. He had 1 or 2.
So in his 36 shots, Ronaldo's got 9 on target.
Ooh.
Bale's got more than that.
In his 21 shots, Bale has 14 on target. So another point to Keeno. 3-2. Jack, over to you. Chances created.
I hate the
That's quite tough.
Created.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
It's just that I don't like, because I feel like if a player moves and creates space for another player, they should be equally rewarded for the chance created. I'm going to assume by the fact Ronaldo's had so many shots for Portugal that Bale must have set up more shots like for the rest of his team. Because if you're having a shot every 10 minutes, and no one else is really doing a lot, are they? So I'll say Bale's creating the most chances.
Ronaldo's created 8 chances.
So I feel confident. I feel a bit more confident.
Bale's created 4 chances.
Oh, well,
So
there you go.
So
Ronaldo's not selfish at all. That's the
So the
stereotype
point goes-
broken right there.
The point goes to Keeno.
You know
Keeno,
why
back
that
to
is,
you.
though? I should have known that. It's because Joe Allen creates everything.
Well,
Yeah,
it's very true.
very true.
Crosses, Keeno.
I don't think Ronaldo does. Who in the Portugal team would Ronaldo even think about crossing to? So
I was
it
going to
has to
say
be
Nani,
Bale.
but no, it wouldn't be Nani.
No, not even Nani. It's got to be Bale.
Bale only has 10 crosses.
I think he's probably got more than Ronaldo. Though.
Ronaldo has 1.
Yeah.
1 cross. So that's 5. That's 5 to Keeno, 2 to Jack.
I think this is more.
5-3,
This is more
is it
sort of.
not? Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
Is it
5-2?
This is
5-3?
more an evaluation of sort of Cristiano Ronaldo's personality than sort
Well,
of
can I
basing
just say,
your
we've got a
predictions
distinct
on that.
lack of photoshops of Ronaldo's free kick posture in various positions. I want more submitted this week.
Yeah, I
Listeners.
feel like I should have got involved there. Okay, dribbles in the whole tournament. Jack, back over to you. Who has more dribbles, Ronaldo or Bale?
I feel like I have to say Ronaldo. The thing is, I want to say Ronaldo, but in reality, this is a bit of a guessing game, I feel
Jack,
like.
just think about what Ronaldo might be doing if he's not crossing the ball or creating chances.
Dribbling, you'd think, wouldn't you? But he has created more chances than Bale. So,
Okay, so what are you going with?
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo has 9.
I mean, that sounds really, really small now, and I'm worried.
That does, yeah.
Gareth Bale has 33 dribbles.
Oh my God.
Keeno has
Terribly.
sabotaged my draft effort, my effort here by kind of just screwing me up.
Okay,
How?
back
I
over
don't
to
know if
Keeno.
you
get a
That is an
point on
amazing
that.
stat, by the way, that he's
Just
done
stop
like 3
it.
times
So
more.
Ronaldo isn't even in double figures.
No, Ronaldo's
That's
9 dribbles.
Because
Bale's
he just
33.
gets it and shoots.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
So
I guess.
no dribbling involved.
Right.
Over to you,
Wow.
Keeno. Tackles.
I'm genuinely quite impressed by that.
Tackles,
Like,
Keeno.
shocked.
You can't lose now, so, you know.
Bale working harder for the team.
Bale has 8 tackles.
That seems low.
Anyone want to guess Ronaldo's tackles?
11.
The correct answer is 0 tackles.
So what we're learning here is Bale is better than Ronaldo, everyone.
I mean,
I
hold
feel
on,
like
Jack.
There are some instances where stats can lie. I feel these stats give a perfect representation of Gareth Bale's personality and style against Cristiano Ronaldo.
Is it Jack, final go? Okay, Jack.
Not ready for this.
Touches.
I mean, if Bale's dribbling 33 times, he must be touching it a fair few times in each dribble. Whereas Ronaldo just seems to shoot.
So,
The thing is, I'm trying to think, if he doesn't cross, does he just shoot from out wide?
I mean, what it could be.
Bale must have the most touches from the amount he wins the ball, the amount he dribbles, and the fact he creates a lot.
Ronaldo has 262 touches.
I mean, I don't know if that's good or bad.
Bale
Oh,
has
wait,
two-
I've just realised. Okay.
Oh.
Oh, come on, Jack. You've lost anyway.
Well, I was going
Good.
to say, I've just realised Ronaldo's played more games as well, which makes the
He
stats
has.
even worse. He's played more minutes rather not.
Yeah, Bale has Ronaldo 262, Bale 287. So
Well,
Bale
ooh.
has more.
Barely, though. So what's Ronaldo doing
Barely.
with all his touches?
It's interesting. When they've actually just a final point. We'll come on to this a little bit later on. But when they've faced each other, Bale's never beaten Ronaldo. 4 wins for Ronaldo and a draw. So I don't know if there might be a
they
Tottenham
can't have
game,
faced
though.
each other very often. Yeah, there must be a
Tottenham.
Tottenham United game because I was thinking they can't have played that much.
Well, I'm thinking,
together.
did Tottenham play Madrid as well?
Oh, true. Yeah, possibly.
When Bale was there. So there we are. That's the feature. Keeno, you win 7 points to 3 there.
Ooh,
still 30 ahead though in the overall.
Yeah, Jack's still 30 ahead. It's that one where he just mentioned the teams in the groups. So there you are then, folks. The feature's back, and it was back with a bang. Did you enjoy that? Was that all right? A bit of fun?
I mean, I now dislike Ronaldo more than I did before because he's ruined the feature for me, really.
Well, let's talk about his team. Poland won, Portugal won. The format for today, by the way, listeners, is we're going through the quarterfinal match. No, sorry, the quarterfinal. Yeah, quarterfinal matches.
What else is there to talk about? It's not like Zlatan signed for Man United or anything.
I mean, we could just all I'll say now, listeners, is the preview show to the Premier League is going to be 4 hours long. Let me tell you.
It is. There's so much.
There is a lot to talk about.
Someone did tweet about... I mean, obviously we tweeted out for questions, which we'll come to at the end, but someone did tweet regarding something, I think it was the Championship, but we will obviously get to that as soon as we are done with the summer tournament, which hasn't got much left, actually. You know, there's not that long.
We're not doing any Olympics coverage.
I mean, do you want me to make you sad about it? About the Euros? 3 games left.
It's very sad.
That's sad, isn't it?
I mean, I'll get over it as an England fan.
Is there a third place match in this tournament? I don't think there is there? No.
No, there's not.
No third place.
Which is
literally
strange.
3 games left with the Euros, everyone. 3 games. Oh, God. You have to wait 2 years for another one for England to disappoint us all. But no, Poland versus Portugal then. It was a relatively interesting game. 2 largely even sides. And Lewandowski finally scored a goal in the first minute of the game. Would you Adam and Eve it, Jack? He's come to the party. He's come to the Euro party.
He's a bit late, isn't he?
Interesting stat. Well, there's 2 stats really from this game. Poor Poland were not behind for any minute of that tournament, and they've still gone out.
That's
and
harsh.
Portugal, obviously, I think everyone knows they haven't won a game yet, but they have only been ahead for 20 minutes of all their matches. I don't know how many they played. 7? 6 or 7?
3 in the group, 2 knockouts.
Oh, 5, sorry.
So 5, yeah.
They've only been ahead 20 minutes.
Going into this game, I thought we were kind of split on it, weren't we, as well? We didn't really know which way it would go, and we were kind of proved to be right, because it goes all the way down to penalties. Renato Sanchez scores a goal. Has he been the highlight for Portugal?
I have really enjoyed watching him play, and obviously, I think it was about 38 million euros his move to Bayern. I was very curious to see how he would play at the Euros. Maybe not given all the opportunities that you'd expect, but he for the last 3 games or so he's been ever present. And he's a little bit raw, but you can see the talent there. He has been one of the highlights for me, with obviously Ronaldo's sort of histrionics. I've really enjoyed watching.
Just for our British viewers, 38 million euros is about £2. So
Cheers, Jack. Hashtag politics.
No, it's the other way round. It's like
hashtag economy.
It doesn't make it work as well.
It's
about 10,100 million pounds.
Yeah, basically. It sounded better with a low amount. The whole
or as Liverpool fans call it, one Andy Carroll. It works out pretty well.
With Renato Sanchez, with his goal, I loved how the commentators are, oh, it's amazing, what a goal. And it was just like, it took a massive. But I kind of feel like he's worked he kind of earned it in a way.
Yeah, I think the fact he's 18, it's terrifying, isn't it, really? 18 years of age in a quarterfinal of the Euros, and he's just prepared to like take it by the scruff of the neck. There's so much expected of players on that pitch. You look at Lewandowski, you look at Ronaldo, you look at even someone like Blazikowski or João Moutinho or Nani, and here's the guy at 18 that's come through. He's got his big summer move, a lot of expectation on him, and he's living up to it. I think there's a strong argument to say, because they've been a little bit underwhelming, he's their player of the tournament so far, and he's not featured massively. You don't even think he played the first couple of games, did he? I don't think.
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah, he was in and out for the first 2, and he's played the last 3 games solid.
And he's been their star. That's his first international goal. Not a bad time to score it. Do we think going forward that unless Portugal start playing better, they're going to be in a lot of trouble against Wales? I mean, we'll come on to that result in a moment. But Portugal so far still flattering to deceive. Still haven't won a game in 90 minutes.
It's so difficult to tell, because they obviously have been pretty dreadful at times in the tournament, and as obviously they haven't won it. But they're in the semi-final, and if you were picking a team from the other 3, you'd pick Wales for, if you were Portuguese and you're looking for someone that you wanted to play. So I mean, it's really difficult to tell. I happen to think that Wales will beat Portugal, because I think that. While you can make a case that they have a more talented lineup, and maybe on paper you'd back them, I think that Wales' system and their spirit and everything else that goes with that will just be too much for Portugal, who haven't really set the tournament alight. But somehow they're here, and you have to give them credit for that. And there are many ways to win a football match.
Indeed.
and they've managed to get it going.
Jack, are you a little bit disappointed in Poland?
Not really. They lived up to my expectation. I wanted 1-1 in a Portugal penalty win. I called it in the last episode, and I was very happy to get one prediction right for the entire tournament.
The reason I asked though is because obviously they've come through their game against Switzerland. They cruised relatively through the group. As Keeno points out, they've not been behind in the tournament, and now they're out.
Well, the thing is, they'd scored 3 goals in 4 games. Like their goal scoring record really wasn't that great in this tournament.
Yeah.
And although Lewandowski kind of got a goal, really you can't really be expecting to get into the semi-finals if you're incapable of scoring a goal a game. Albeit, against teams like Germany, I feel like they scraped through the last round against a mediocre Switzerland team that had glimpses of brilliance in it. And whilst Portugal themselves haven't really, stood out this tournament as a team to really watch out for, and perhaps both of these teams are the beneficiaries of the fact they are in kind of the theoretically weaker side of kind of the knockout bracket. With Poland, I wanted to see more from the start of the tournament, and after the group stage, 2 okay wins and a draw against Germany, you thought, right, that is a platform to build upon. You wanted Lewandowski to come into life, them to beat Switzerland fairly convincingly, a Switzerland team that, yes, they'd drawn against France. In fact, no, they lost to France, but they hadn't been that impressive. Or did they draw to France? Did they draw to France?
They did.
They did. I'm doubting myself now. Internal arguments.
Don't doubt yourself, Jack.
Believe in yourself. You can do anything.
But no, I don't know. With Poland,
within reason.
It was one of these teams a bit like Belgium in some ways, where you were kind of waiting for them to come to life, and you saw these little sparks, but it never quite came together for them.
I think it's you did say about both teams really had a luck of the draw. I think sort of in terms of the teams that they could have played, maybe Iceland, but those two teams would have wanted each other in that draw as well, considering the form that Wales have shown. And it's funny, neither of them really got going, and it kind of just ground to a halt through penalties, because I think that was the only way that one of them was really going to go out, because neither of them have set the tournament on fire.
I think the reason I asked that is because I think I expected a little bit more out of Poland. I think,
certainly of Lewandowski.
But you touch on it, right? You touch on the fact that Portugal came into this in relatively, I guess you would call it poor form. They're not being smashing teams or anything. I mean, they drew with Hungary, for goodness sake. So, as a Poland fan, you might have expected more. You've got Lewandowski. He's a household name, not just in he's not just he's one of these, you know what I mean. He's one of these national footballers that is known within the nation for being a real star. I'm trying to think of an example. Someone like, how would I pick that?
Shevchenko when he played.
Shevchenko's a really good example, but again, he's he's still relatively well known. I'm talking about a player that comes out of sort of the country and then it's known. And who was that guy who used to play for Switzerland? Was it Frey or Free?
Yes, Alexander Fry.
Yeah, he was an example of that. Someone that wasn't exactly known on the international stage or anything, but was sort of known within the country of being a very good footballer. I mean, if you were going to use an English example, you'd go with someone like
Defoe.
Defoe's a good example. Yeah, Defoe's a really good example. You go with someone like that. Whereas that's not the case with Lewandowski. He is like a top star. He's like a top 10 player at the tournament. Some would argue. Is that fair? Top 10?
I think so. Yeah.
I think he's definitely getting there. So I think Poland probably expected a little bit more out of him. Yeah, he scored and they've defended well. It's just that final breakthrough they've not been able to find. And Portugal have had similar problems. They've not done it either. But with the player
there's something to be said. Sorry, people. Obviously, a lot of it was made of Lewandowski's poor form in the rounds that they were sort of qualifying through as they were progressing through the tournament. And while his goals obviously didn't make a difference to them qualifying, it may have made a difference to their form and their mentality going into this game. I feel if Lewandowski had been performing well and Poland had won some of their matches a little bit more convincingly, it may have given them a bit more impetus to actually go and try and really push for the win this game, beating a fairly mediocre Portugal team. So while his goals, or his lack of goals, might not have impacted Poland actually progressing through the groups and then the knockout stage, it may have affected them mentally this game.
Do we think there's something to be said then for these two teams in particular? Obviously one of them's out now, but neither of them are entirely sure how to get the best out of their star player, Jack. And and Portugal are coming up against a team now that are getting the best out of their star player by essentially treating him as if he's just one of their other players. And is that a problem that Portugal... I mean, we've talked about it throughout the tournament, but do you think that's something that might just always be the case with Portugal? That they'll never... it's almost too late now for them to fix it.
The thing that always...
I think it is, yeah.
I think a little bit. I always feel like with Portugal, they either want to play it through Ronaldo a lot of the time and just get it to him, or Ronaldo gets frustrated because it isn't getting to him and he goes around chasing it. And in both scenarios, you've got this glaring weakness where there isn't necessarily that potency going forward because you've either not got players there or you've not got other players getting into the game. I feel like it's a massive disservice to Portugal when you kind of consider their team. The fact they've got players like Quaresma, João Mario, Nani, they're not terrible players by any means, but they're not as good as Ronaldo. But they're very much capable of playing with the ball. And if you were to line them up alongside the Welsh side, you'd say that the Portugal side, in some ways, is very, very similar. In terms of there's a few, if not more, standout players than in the Welsh squad. In that Portuguese side, but they're kind of eclipsed a lot by, Ronaldo, and
I think it's important. It's important that when Ronaldo's playing at Madrid, obviously the quality of player is much higher, but the way that he is used in that team and the way that he scored 50 goals a season for the last 4 or 5 years in La Liga is that you want him on the end of moves, ideally, just to add that devastating final touch. You don't want Ronaldo having to create anything or sort of almost create chances for himself, because that's when he gets frustrated. And while Portugal have good players in the sort of international top tier of football, in that context, they're not necessarily obviously not as good, but not quite good enough as the players that Ronaldo's with in his domestic team.
But Real Madrid is certainly built for Ronaldo. Like it's worth saying that Real Madrid is built for him. And it's going to see how they transition. Whereas
the players around him are much...
Portugal's not, though. That's the big thing, though. The manager doesn't force it around Ronaldo, I don't think. I actually don't think part of Portugal's game plan, as much as it might seem this way when you see players giving him the ball in positions where you think you're probably best off keeping it or giving it somewhere else. But Portugal don't play a system around Ronaldo for me. I think they try and keep him as sort of this X factor that they almost don't want to let the opposition know about, and they bring him out of his little box and let him do a trick or a free kick. But do you think differently? Do you think they're trying too hard?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you began this little section by saying that I don't think neither Paolo Bento or the manager who is now there, which I forget the name of, the current manager, but he's quite boring anyway. So
he was in Greece. That's all we know.
They've not really decided, and I think it's that uncertainty that. That lack of certainty over the system that we see in teams like England, and it's the antithesis of what we see in Wales, who are, with their star player, absolutely sure of how they're going to play and the system that they're going to deploy Gareth Bale in. And that makes a massive difference, especially as a coach when you don't have a long time to work with teams going into the tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Any final points you want to quickly make on this game before we move on to the Wales-Belgium match?
I think in many ways it was the least interesting of the quarters. Yeah. While Germany had they were both quite dull matches. I think the way that the Germany game, which we'll get onto later, sort of panned out. I think it was more interesting. Yeah. This was maybe the dead rubber of this tour.
Well, we'll move on then. Leave the dead rubber behind. Let's go to an alive rubber. Let's go to an alive rubber and
very much alive.
Go to Wales 3, Belgium 1. I mean, we'll go in chronological order here, boys. The Nainggolan shot, the goal. I mean, I was off my seat. It's my favourite goal of the tournament. I'll say now.
It's the way it's gone across his body, and he's just kind of sledgehammered it. And I feel like, I was about to say 9 times out of 10, but it's more like 99 times out of 100. That just goes flying over the crossbar. It's just seen as a wasted chance. And I think it says a lot that Hennessy was able to get across to it, get 2 fairly strong hands, but still just couldn't get enough behind it to actually get it out from, going into the back of the net. And it went in
Hennessy's
like a rocket.
Hennessy's been excellent this tournament as well. He's been in really good form for Wales. And like you say, it's a compliment to the strike of the ball that he was... Yeah.
I dare say most keepers get nothing on that. I think Hennessy's like 6'5", 6'6". That helps. Getting to a shot like that, I don't think most keepers get anywhere near it. I'll say my favourite goal of the tournament. Have you got favourite goals just before we carry on?
I think we discussed this in last episode.
Who picked Shaqiri's goal?
Well, I did, but now I'm half on board with Team Robson-Carneve.
Okay, that's fair enough.
It's that one I was going to say as well, Robson-Carneve, and I think you could also make a case. For me, I like the Payet goal because...
okay, go on, Payet.
I mean, his celebration was great, but Payet's first goal reminded me of the, in a slightly different way, to the Shabalala goal in 2010, like the goal for the hosts. I was going to say the Lahm one.
Do you remember the Lahm goal for the hosts?
Yeah, Germany, that kind of... The context of the Payet goal and the quality and the entire thing, I think the package was what made it so good.
There was quite a lot of sentiment behind that Payet strike. You could see he'd been through a bit of a struggle with that French team, and he was the one to get them out of a bit of a bind. I think it's an emotional goal. Speaking of Nainggolan, is his hair just odd?
Yeah.
Why is he? I mean, I would like to see
it looks razor sharp. It looks like you cut yourself on it.
I reckon the rest of the team have a little shave on his beard.
You know why
his beard, on his hair.
You know why he has his hair cut like that, where it's all like prickly and looks sharp, so that Fellaini's less inclined to elbow him in the head in training.
It puts him off.
Maybe that's the key.
I feel like when you know people in people that are listening, you will know people like this. People, and you two will as well. People that have dyed their hair, and then after a few weeks, like it looks quite good the first day, and then it gets slowly and slowly worse as the weeks and the days go on. Fellaini's at like the back end now of it looks good, and now it just looks terrible, like really bad. Patchy.
Yeah,
oh dearie me. I mean, I think
agree.
if you come here for hair chat,
I feel like with Nainggolan, you could turn him upside down. He'd be like a highlighter pen. Like you could
What
dip
they
a
should
spiky
do-
bit of hair in some paint and draw with it.
they should use Nainggolan to cut Fellaini's hair. I mean,
Listeners, if you have any ways that you could use Raja Nainggolan's hair for,
I'm thinking painting.
he could do a wonderful job on like Farm Simulator.
should we talk about the game?
Sure.
I mean-
Ashley Williams scored a header to make it 1-1. It's a classic kind of captain's goal when the backs are against the wall a little bit. Because Belgium early doors, by the way, Belgium looked good. Wales
Yeah,
looked a
they did
little
fantastic.
bit. Wales looked stunned by Belgium. It was like, oh god, we've got this Belgium to deal with. Oh, this could be difficult. And then ever since, really, that Williams goal, which is great, by the way. That's a classic Euros goal, isn't it? When he gets the header in, he's captain fantastic, and then celebrates with the team.
I did feel like that goal was kind of really did sum up the defensive woes of Belgium in some ways. You know, they'd obviously lost basically their three best centre
It's a good point, yeah.
And I
Very
feel
good
like
point.
they did look very susceptible from set pieces. And Ashley Williams is a fantastic player, kind of, win a header like that. And there was a sense of disorganisation, a lack of a leader, a defensive kind of commander in the box of Belgium. And whilst it has been a problem, perhaps with Company being out, I think it was more indicative, or not indicative, more kind of visible in this game, with of course the few more injuries they had at the back.
Do we think, and I hate to use the term golden generation, because that's all anyone ever says about Belgium. Do you think they've got a very similar issue to England, like in that? I hate to bring it back to England, but you know what I'm doing.
I think the lack of a manager who really knows how to get the best out of them makes them, very, very similar to England.
Their next appointment is vital, whoever it is.
Absolutely. Let's just hope they don't appoint Fabio Capello or Steve McLaren.
Actually, did Wilmots leave?
I think he must have left. Has he left? I feel like I've read that he's left.
He's holding talks with the Belgian,
okay.
the Belgian FA, but he's not actually
You'd
left
expect
yet.
him to
He's
leave.
not done a
wouldn't you?
Roy then. He didn't have a speech ready because he believes in his team.
You'd expect him to leave because he had a poor World Cup by Belgium standards. I think people expected a lot more from that, and he's had a poor Euros. It's not that dissimilar to a manager who was the most well-paid manager in the Euros. Anyone for an extra point?
Roy.
Correct. You love that. But no, Belgium looks. You mentioned the reason I brought it up is because our golden generation were a golden generation without a lot of depth. We had a very good starting 11, and then beyond that, it wasn't actually that strong. And I think Belgium have come a little bit unstuck with that defensively. No Vertonghen, no Company, no Vermaelen. And all of a sudden, you're not even quite sure who some of those players are. Like, I think we're being fair there. Their right back isn't exactly a household name. Lukaku's brother isn't particularly a household name.
It's like Lukaku's gone, I've got a brother who can play left back.
Yeah, I've got a Belgian brother. I mean, let's give
I've got to be honest, with
fine.
the only reason I know him is because he got a team with a season card whilst on loan at Celtic last year in FIFA.
But he's had a decent time of it at Galatasaray. Obviously, he's on loan from City. It'd be interesting if Guardiola uses him next year, actually, with all the injuries to Company. There's not a great deal of depth there, even going forward. Like, in the wider areas, they've got a few players. They've got Mertens and Morales to fill in if needs be. They've got Benteke and Origi. And in the middle, apart from maybe... I mean, you've got like four midfielders, haven't you? You've got Fellaini, Witsel, Nainggolan and Dembele. They're a little bit light in there. I don't know, there's not a massive amount of players that they could bring through.
No, I agree with that.
Is this the generation?
Well, I feel like the
generation?
fortunate thing for Belgium is because they've got such a young squad. There's still a chance of 3 or 4 more players coming through in the next 2 or 3 years. The next Euros, whilst the rest of the team is still pretty much in their prime.
I think quite a few of their wonder kids though, Jack, have come through are now in this team. De Bruyne, Hazard, and I mean Lukaku is probably the other example. They were like 3 players that were talked about so much before their big moves, and now. They're not like young players anymore. They're 25, 24. Like they're there now. They're established. And I mean, international tournaments come and go. We've seen it with our own national team. You could be 2 or 3 tournaments in, and all of a sudden you're looking at your last one thinking, Okay, and that's a different kind of pressure then. Like, there's a lot of pressure
Wayne
to perform
Rooney.
when you're in your peak, but there's a lot more. There's almost more pressure the later you go, and you still haven't won anything, and you were expected to do so well in these previous tournaments. And
I can't think of anyone who we've got like that.
but the point I'm making is, I think this could be it for Belgium. I mean, we talk about it's the next coach is important, but there's a lot of ability in this team, and if they don't start getting stuff out of it, I mean, there's a World Cup around the corner. They've got a relatively easy group. They've got a lot of work to do to be sort of living up to the expectations. And I think expectations for Belgium this tournament, certainly when you looked at their side of the group, was to win it. So to go out in the quarterfinals is poor.
I think that's fair. Can we talk about something that wasn't poor?
Is it Robson Canu's
Yeah,
goal?
it is, to make it 2-1, seeing as we're doing the whole chronological thing.
Let's talk about Wales.
Yeah, forget Belgium now.
We've not mentioned the conquerors
can we talk about
of
Robson
this.
Carney's goal first? Because it's one of those goals where if it happens in the playground, everyone oohs and ahs and kind of does the whole rinsed thing as the ball hits the back of the net. It was that good.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Same ball. No, it was good. It was the way he held it up. And then, do you know what I was thinking during this game, actually? I would love to be a footballer that could end my career and then still have a move named after me. Johan Cruyff must have been. I mean, I didn't see a lot of him. He must have been some player though to get to
The McGeady spin.
I mean, that's
count.
slightly different, isn't it? That's the FIFA
Doesn't
kids
count.
thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Panenka.
the Bobby Zamora when the ball hits the whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. Robson Canu's goal then, great goal, and as I said, from the Ashley Williams goal onwards, Wales were in total control. I felt like they had it.
It was. I mean, there was no better sort of kind of summation of how Wales play under Coleman and just how far they've come. The way that they just sort of ground their way back into the game, playing the exact same way that they knew they could beat Belgium with. They didn't panic after they went 1-0 down. It would have been very, very easy for Coleman and the players themselves to sort of buckle under the pressure and suddenly to realise, shit, we're in a quarter final here and we're playing a fantastic
team. Do you think the
team.
fact they got that goal kind of, I don't want to say so immediately, because obviously it was like 17 minutes later, but the fact that they didn't go into half-time at 1-0 helped them? Because I do feel like in this game, there was a point at 2-1 before Vokes' goal where there was a few penalty shouts for Belgium and a free kick shout, and there probably should have been a penalty or a free kick. But there was a degree of nervousness, I thought, about Wales in terms of there were a few kind of half-hearted tackles flying in, a few misplaced passes. And to be honest, Vokes' goal, I think, relieved a lot of what could have been a very, very nervy kind of last 5 minutes for the Wales in this game.
I think that's a really good point, and I think what it was that it was a team that had never been there before, and I think that's what the feeling was. I don't. When you mention these players that were flying a little bit, you didn't see Ramsey do it in particular, who was on a booking, by the way. You didn't see him flying. You didn't see Bell flying. There was these players that hadn't experienced sort of the top level of international competition or just even club competition. That are good players, good Premier League players, but haven't never really been in a title sort of fight or anything. Never been really pushed.
You're talking about Joe
brink.
Allen, Ben?
Pardon?
Are you talking about Joe Allen?
No, Joe Allen was part of that Liverpool campaign where we won the league, mate. I don't know if you've... second in the league. But no, you know what I mean? There's a lot of players in that team that haven't been there before. And I think it was just sort of a nervous energy. It was almost like they were overexcited because they were like, okay, we've got to get the ball back. You go get it. Okay, no, I'll get it. And there wasn't a lot of discipline in the side. And you're completely right, Jack. The Vokes header, it's a great header. I mean, if it would have won the game,
the
we'd be raving about it.
ball in was insane as well. It really was on a plate for him just to, I mean, to be fair, he did well to hit the target and direct where he needed to go, but the cross has made it 10 times easier, I think. Not that it was an easy finish in itself, of course, but he kind of just had to help it on. The power was already on it.
Was it Chris Gunter with the assist? Gunter won it.
It was Gunter.
Lovely ball in. Lovely header. Lovely ball
I
in.
thought he'd run too near the near post, actually. I thought it was a really weird run by him, but it was one of those ones where you can't really argue with it and say it was a mistake if he scores.
It was a bit Teddy Sheringham-y, I would say.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Quite
I think it was more more Sheringham than Shearer, actually.
Yeah. It was the jump of Sheringham and the power of Shearer. Is that fair? That's probably a better way of putting it.
We're trying to bring it back to England again, aren't we, really?
Speaking of Roy, no. So going into the game against Portugal then, Wales go through. Massive credit to Chris Coleman, who, I mean, we talk about average managers that don't get enough out of their teams and the players that they've got at their disposal. Chris Coleman is getting a little bit more out of those players than you might suspect, and a massive amount of credit goes to him. He's one of the first people to give credit to Gary Speed, obviously put the wheels in motion, John Toshack before that have allowed Wales to have such a great platform to build upon. And of course, they've got world-class players, but you still have to make a world-class player. You still have to make that team tick and work, and we see it fail so many times across Europe. Then, I don't know, give some Chris Coleman some props, Jack.
I have to give him some props because I actually didn't really rate him as a manager going to Wales, if I'm honest.
I don't think many people did.
He did actually talk, I thought it was quite telling in his post-game interview. He talked about the fact, he'd had quite a few failures at club level and there were a lot of people doubting him when he first got appointed. And really, it's been a big project for him, this Welsh side, and I think he's gained a lot of credit for it. And there are certainly some managers who I think are better suited to kind of national team management, where there's a lot less in the way of kind of having to sign players. It's a lot more about kind of drilling a system into your team, kind of coaching to get the best out of the hand that you're dealt.
Man management.
Yeah, and I think that is where Chris Coleman really shines as a manager. And am I mad to say, I don't think he'll leave Wales after this one, but I'd love to see him manage in England, if I'm honest, because I think he could do a darn sight better than some of the other names that are being thrown into the ring at the moment.
Well, I was going to ask Keeno about that. Would you like to see Coleman, not at England, but to stay at Wales now for a long time?
Yeah.
And manage the expectation of, we know what we are, we know who we are, and we're not trying to play above our station.
We know what we are.
But you know what I mean, though? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see him, for sure, stay at Wales, because I think that, as I think I was saying to you before we started recording, actually, earlier on, that Wales, and maybe to a lesser extent Northern Ireland, but Wales, now they've sort of got over this watershed of qualifying, they could, with the crop of players they have, and with the kind of the potential players coming through that success does inspire in a country, they could try and qualify for the next few tournaments. They could become sort of regular names. I don't think that's out of the question. And I would like to see Coleman, who I think, as Jack said, he has the qualities that make a good international manager. He might not be as good in the sort of the day-to-day of managing a Premier League team or a league team, because there are different pressures, and it's much more sort of
it's a lot more
non-stop.
intense, I feel like. It's a lot more intense at club level, and some managers just aren't cut out for that.
Exactly, and I would like to see him stay and maybe try and cement Wales as a regular, like a kind of Croatia, a regular tournament goer. I'd definitely like to see Wales at a World Cup as well, which they've not done. So that would be good. I'd certainly like to see him give the next qualifying campaign a go and try and get to the tournament. I think Jack hit the nail on the head when he mentioned the man management side, because I think that's probably most evident in this Welsh team, how well they function together as a unit and as a team, and obviously what great friends they are. I think Coleman has to take a lot of credit for that, because it would have been very difficult post Gary Speed. They weren't certain of qualifying. There was a lot of uncertainty around the team. He is solely responsible in my eyes for bringing them all together and creating the unit that the strength of that unit saw them through that game against Belgium, particularly after they went 1-0 down.
I do think, actually, for Chris Coleman, one of the things I'd love to get an insight into is how he actually prepares the team. Because I feel like when you're playing at international level, obviously a lot less matches, less teams to worry about. It seems like every game that the Welsh side go into, they have a game plan. They know what they want to do. Every single player seems to know what they want to do. And I don't know what depth they go into before the matches, but it's something that I wish we'd see more of, with teams like England that are just disorganised going into games. With the Welsh side, the players seem to know the man that they're going to mark in all the situations, and they're just so well drilled.
You have to think that going into the first... Well, if you look at Roy Hodgson's team selections in the friendlies, we didn't play that... take the Germany game, for instance.
Back to England, sorry, viewers.
Well, yeah, but in comparison to England, who do have players like Wales who are regulars in the Premier League, maybe a slightly higher quality on paper, not massively so, but Hodgson did not stick to a system that we knew how to play. He didn't get a settled 11. He made a number of changes between games, and you see that manifest itself in two different ways. In the positive way, where Wales playing that 3-5-2, which I think has almost come back into vogue this tournament. I don't want to get too tactical. I mean, we could do maybe when we get to the Italy game, because we saw that formation in that game twofold. But playing that system they play, it's very difficult for a team that's used to playing with four at the back and maybe one striker to counter, and Wales are used to playing that now. I know they didn't always play it throughout qualifying, but they look so well drilled in that fifth system, and as we've seen with Italy, when you have a well drilled team with a kind of colossus in the centre of the back three and two very good wing backs who are consistent, it can cause teams a lot of problems who might be better than you on paper. And so I think the system has to be one of the biggest factors, and the way that they're settled into it.
I think to wrap up then on the system,
there's so much to pick up Wales for. But, I mean, so many things.
To wrap it up, I think the biggest compliment you can pay to this Welsh team is that Aaron Ramsey now misses the game. He's not the only one either. Ben Davies as well. Is there another one? Was it just Ben Davies and Ramsey?
Ben Davies and Ramsey, the big players.
Yeah, just those two.
Ramsey misses out on this semi-final. And most people's reaction is, it's all right, they've got someone who will come and do a job. And that
Johnny Williams.
That is like, but that's it, isn't it? And we'll see if it rings true or not. It'll be Andy King or Johnny Williams, right? One of those two players will now come in. By the way, Jack, Andy King, Welsh, you know.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
But they're going to come in, and you expect Wales to play exactly the same way. They haven't had a standout player. Yeah, Bale's scored the goals and whatnot. He's one of the top scorers in the competition. But they're not reliant on him, I don't feel like. It doesn't feel that way to me anyway.
Bale is just the X factor on top of this great team that Coleman's built that takes them over the edge.
So, to wrap up, who do we think will win out of Wales? Who do we want to win? Who do we think will win? I think we all want Wales. We all want Wales, right?
Yeah.
But who do we think will win, and how will it be won? Jack?
I've got this horrible image that Portugal are going to win this entire tournament, like not being ahead in any games at all, or for like 20 minutes.
Ronaldo to score the winning penalty in the final after having a dreadful game.
Shut off.
With this game, I want Wales to win, and I think they definitely have a chance to win. I just have this weird thing. Portugal they've seemed to have worked out a way to win even when they play terribly. And I feel like we saw, that Wales, they're not impenetrable when they played England. And I do wonder if, without Davis, with perhaps someone else slotting in there at the back, with a little bit of, that nervousness of reaching a major semi-final, if there is just a point at which the wheels are going to fall off kind of the Welsh stream. I hope it doesn't happen. I've just got a weird feeling in my head, Portugal could win this 1-0 after extra time or something.
Keeno?
We've just bigged Wales up so much that I have to go behind them. I think that Portugal, throughout this tournament, have shown, even if you go back to the Iceland game at the very beginning, when they play a well-drilled, well-organised team that does not give them any free passes in terms of space in behind for Ronaldo, they have shown that they are pretty ineffectual. And I think the difference between Wales and, say, a Poland, who they also just struggled to beat, was that Wales have a superstar in Bale who is on form, unlike Lewandowski up until that game. I know he did score, but I think Bale can be that deciding factor. I think Wales will nullify the Portuguese threat that hasn't really been clicking so far. I think Wales will win it. It'll be tight, maybe 1-0 or 2-1, but I back Wales.
Yeah, I'll kind of go on both sides then. I really want Wales to do it. I really want Wales to get to a final and give whoever it is the game of their lives. I just think Portugal will fancy this. I think it's the first game in the tournament. Portugal will think, do you know what? We're in a pretty good position here. We're in a semi-final. I'm not entirely sure how we've got here, but we're here. And I think they'll look across that Welsh team, and I actually think the arrogance of the Portuguese team will be a factor. I think they will look at players that are in that side, players like Chris Gunter, players like Neil Taylor. I'm not saying they're bad players. I just think players like Nani and Ronaldo and Crespo will look at those players and think, do you know what? I'm better than you. And I think that will pull them through. I think Portugal will win. And I hate it because I don't think they frankly, I don't think they deserve it as much as Wales.
You hate saying that.
I hate seeing that. So yeah, but I think Portugal will nick it. I think it'll be like a 2-1, 3-1. I think it'll be a really good game though, and I hope Wales do it. I really do.
I will say, sort of in terms of this game, if Portugal score first and draw Wales out a little bit, I think it could be a sort of an end-to-end game and one like that maybe finishes 2 or 3-1. But I'm still backing Wales because I don't think Portugal will score early.
A lot rests on Ashley Williams.
To score in 3 minutes then.
To keep it. Ashley Williams. A lot depends on him. If he keeps it organised, James Collins probably going to come in next to him. That'll be the key for me. If they keep a lockdown on Ronaldo, that'd be the key. But if they don't, then I think Ronaldo will relish it.
Cutting edge analysis from For the Fans here.
Could be a problem.
Ronaldo's the player to watch if you didn't know.
Basically, if Portugal score more goals, everyone, they'll probably win. Right? Yeah, guys, follow up. Yeah. Agreed?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well done, Paul.
Cheers. Right then, let's go to the most tactical of tactical battles. It was Germany 1, Italy 1. An old boy.
For the purists.
We're no longer for the fans. We're for the purists. As we discuss this one, it was. I think some people would describe it as boring. I genuinely, I'm not trying to be a little bit out there, but I thought it was a really
highbrow.
I thought it was a really interesting game of football to watch in that first half. It's the kind of match that I quite enjoy because I understand the finer details of the game. People,
you're such a snob, Ben.
But my dad fell asleep. It was like, oh god, it's like one of those games where it's like, there's no shots happening. It's really boring. I'm thinking, yeah, but look at the way the German defence are matching Italy and holding the ball.
Do you think our listeners, Ben, will agree with you or your dad?
Well, my dad also. I said to him before we recorded, I said, anything you want me to mention on the podcast? He was like, yeah. Can we get throw-ins changed? I was like, sorry, what? Go on. He said, well, I don't like it. He doesn't talk like this. Oh, all right, I don't like it when the ball goes out and they throw it 5 yards in front. I'm like,
sounds like Jamie Redknapp.
Is it affecting the game? He's like, yeah, well, they're cheats. They should be doing it. I'm thinking, here we go. But
your dad sounds like the kind of person who wants to get rid of corners, like not as in the physical, like as in a corner take, but so that players can't time waste. Like they should curve off. The corners.
He wants free kicks given for people that defend or do that waste time in the corners. He doesn't like that either. That's quite a few things. We should get him on one week. So yes, Germany won, Italy won. It started off the first half. I mean, I was surprised Germany matched Italy to play the three at the back. They went with the Howarders, Hummels and Boateng back three. I genuinely didn't think they were going to do it. When I mentioned Italy winning 4-1, which now looks stupid, I understand. I didn't think Germany would do that. I thought Germany would play a four at the back, and that's where I thought they'd be punished, because I thought they would come out, be too open, and Italy would soak it up and push them. But the way that Germany played, they played identical to Italy in many ways. The midfield shape was slightly different, but they played almost identical in that they played the three, they sat back, they said, look, we're going to keep the ball, you come and get it off us. And Italy were like, no, that's what you do to us. So the first half was like both teams not really having much attacking play. And
a lot of credit to Yogi, I think, goes.
Well, yeah, I would say, I'm shocked. As I say, I'm shocked they did it. I did not think he would do it. To change it up mid-tournament and to sort of match Italy. That's Italy's thing. They're not doing it against a team that are just trying something to be different. They're doing it against the masters of it, and they've come out winners. Jack also got the first goal. You thought Germany would win, did you not?
I did. I thought that I thought Germany had more goals in them, if I'm honest. And the fact that Italy's goal came from a penalty. Bizarre handball. We'll get on to it. I don't know what he was doing. I fancied Germany for this game. To be honest, I didn't see them setting up the way they did, and I think that when I saw that, I was like, well, this is not going to have the goals in it that I thought it might have in it. But I kind of felt like the Germany side had that capability to kind of penetrate, and ultimately they kind of showed that fairly early on in the second half. Yeah.
So Ozil gets the goal, and at that point you're thinking, part of me was thinking at least, how is Italy going to score now? Because Germany are just going to carry on doing what they're doing, and it's going to force Italy to come out, and that arguably then gives the advantage to the Germans. But Jerome Boateng, does one of the strangest. Can you call it a block, or what do you call it?
His hands were so high up. I didn't. From someone who has really sort of developed into probably one of the best centre halves in the world. It was a very strange decision, and I thought what was nice is that Bonucci, in his first penalty from open play in his career,
that is obscene, by the way.
Took it.
Was he just like, yeah, I'll have this, boys? Like, what was the thinking there? Because why was he taking it?
The only thing I could think that might actually be sort of slightly tactical was that Neuer might not have been ready to save a penalty. I thought
the same thing. I thought if there's one player he's not going to know about, it's probably going to be the man that never takes penalties.
Never taken a penalty before.
Yeah, and I think we'll come on to the penalties later. There's some good penalty chat coming up, listeners. But I think Pella would probably normally have taken it. Like Pella quite likes a penalty. He's taken a few for Southampton. And but I'm watching it back, right, just because I had to remind myself of it. Boateng's doing that thing where he wants to be so clear that he's not grabbing the defender, but he jumps into the defender with his arms like he does like a forward star jump.
I thought it was the way his hands were positioned. It's like when a gymnast lands, and they raise their hands to rapturous applause. That kind of looked like what he was doing.
But I guess my big query is, why is
Well, I
he
think
doing
he's trying to be like, oh, I've not touched him. Why not just put your hands behind your back if you want to do that? I don't think you should be worried about that in the first place. But like, of all the places to stick your hands
behind your back's weird enough
well,
as well.
Yeah, but I think most people would rather you stick them behind your back than do what he's done.
You decrease the chance of a penalty, Keeno, if you put them behind your back. Whereas if you put them really high in the air,
it's like he's gone to
for
a rave.
everybody to see. But no, it's just really weird that he's got them so high. Like the chances are, Boateng's like 6'3", 6'4". He's quite a big guy already. So the chances are, if the ball goes in the air, it may well just hit his arms anyway. And as a defender, like you see so many defenders so conscious of it hitting their arms. Boateng's like, nah, fuck this. We're just going to fly at the ball with his arms in the air. Makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Baffling. Bonucci scores the penalty, and then we have a very kind of what do you call it, sluggish end to the game. Not much went on from then really.
It was that classic one where both teams are sort of accepting that it's extra time, that penalties are on their way, and sort of mentally preparing for the ensuing shootout.
That's quite the mental game of that is quite interesting.
I feel like golden goal should come back. And I know that golden goal like basically means who gets a little bit more lucky in extra time, but I think it would stop this kind of situation. I know some people enjoy the drama of penalties. I enjoy the drama of next goal wins.
I want 16 teams in golden goal back, Jack. I'm for it, mate. I'm all for it.
I feel like golden goal in the FA Cup was like the most glorious thing ever. Make football great again.
Golden goal. We've
left the EU. Let's make our
mark.
Make
them do throw-ins from where the ball went out. For God damn it! I'm peddling this now. So it goes to the shootout. Just before the shootout, though, Zaza comes on. Not sure why.
Well, a great penalty take. Have you not heard?
Yeah, apparently. So it goes, just to get this right, Cruz steps up, scores, Insigne steps up, scores, and then Thomas Muller, the 22nd penalty in a row to score it for Germany in international competitions, missed. And at that point, boys, I didn't know what to think.
It was one of those ones where you're like, well, they can't all miss, and like more and more players stood up and just hit it over, or it was saved. So
Muller missed, and then Zaza steps up. Jack, did you see my tweet earlier on about this?
The heat map.
The heat map of where Zaza is on the field of play.
Did he take more steps in the run up to the penalty than he did when he actually came on as a sub? I'd be curious to know that.
He must have done, because he did about 25. No, he did about 10 though, didn't he? 10 to 12. I mean, shall we find out how many exactly?
Well, how many did he do there, but also to walk from the halfway line to the penalty spot? Because I reckon that is more than he covered in the rest of the game. And to be honest, if you're being subbed on to take a penalty, you better bloody make sure you score. And the worst thing is, I feel like when you see the run up that he's doing, it's just like, well, this is going over. It's just like 9 out of 10 times, if someone does something weird in their run up, be it like a running man impression or whatever, the ball's going over. For example, Pele's another example with his penalty where he goes going down the middle, I'm going to Panenka it, and he just spoons it wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just inevitable. You'd think he'd looked at Zaza Pele and gone, right, maybe not be cocky. Maybe not do something too weird.
Right, I'm just going to watch it now, Jack. Sorry, listener, this isn't much of an audio feature. I'm going to see how many steps he takes in his run-up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20. It's literally 20. 20 steps.
I don't... Was he warm? Was that his warm-up?
Did he know it was the real thing? Was that the real thing? I think he legitimately does 20 steps.
Someone needs to explain to him. It's not like golf, where you have a practice swing and run hit parallel to the ball. Can you imagine a player doing that in a penalty shootout? Just got to practice on a swing.
Go. So he missed, then Ozil missed, and it was like, oh my word, Germany missed 2 in a row. Unseen.
Well, that's the second penalty that Ozil's missed this tournament now.
Yeah, shouldn't be taking them. Balzagli scores, Draxler scored. Draxler's penalty was very good. And now this is the worst one for me. This is actually worse than Zaza's for me, Jack. The Pella penalty.
I mean, if he actually Panenka'd it, it's the greatest penalty ever. Because he's told the world's best keeper, I'm going to Panenka you, mate. And the keeper's like, he hasn't got the balls to do that. And then he does it.
I think some people might not realise. Do you know why he's done that? Keeno, do you know either? Jack, Keeno?
I'm not certain.
I'd guess it's because, I don't know. But Neuer dived right every single time. And I've kind of decided I'm going to go to Neuer's right. So I'll tell him I'm going down the middle.
I feel like this is a bit of an exclusive. Not everyone might not know this. Pella notoriously quite likes a dink in like a major moment. He's done it for Italy's under-21s. He's done it previously at some other clubs as well. He likes to do the Panenka. So I think he thinks in his head, Neuer knows I like to dink these. So he's looking at him going, yeah, look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then...
A poor attempt,
I mean, then it is like, To me, it really was the worst penalty of the lot because it's so slow and wide.
I said this to you before as well when we started recording. I don't know why people. It's sort of become a little bit more prevalent in the last maybe, I don't know what you'd say, maybe 3 or 4 years. Players playing the stutter penalty, and again I said this. I like to see a comparison of conversion rates of penalties, maybe in international competition or maybe the Champions League as well, which are stuttered, and just normal penalties. And I would bet, I mean, if a listener wants to do this, go for it and tweet at us, but I would bet that, well, you don't know our listeners then, Jack, obviously. I would bet that you know, the regular penalty where you don't give the keeper a chance to think and you just strike it well and hard and put it away would succeed more often. Yeah. I think in that pressure cooker of an environment, in a semi-final or a quarter-final, why on earth you sort of give yourself that chance of hesitation and give the keeper any clue which way you might be going? Yeah. And Zaza was took that to new levels with his penalty.
Well, haven't they? Have they banned stutter penalties? I feel like there was a point. I don't know if
you've got to move forward. You can't.
I feel like Zaza has gone right. So I can't do stutter penalties anymore. What's the next best thing? Like he's worried he's going to screw up a stutter and he'll accidentally go backwards.
That's literally not the best thing. When I've just counted that he did 20 steps before he strikes the ball.
I think stutter penalties also show a lack of confidence from the player. Like if you know that your technique is sound and obviously 9 times out of 10, or maybe even a little bit more than that, if you strike it well and put it in the corner, the keeper's not going to save it, even if he guesses right. I think it shows a little bit of lack of confidence in your technique and in your mental ability that they sort of wait and they want a clue from the keeper before they strike it.
The irony is the only player in the world that I think is good at it is Balotelli, who's Italian, which
Who is just doesn't give a fuck and is just
that's all he's good at, to be fair. Although we actually on Balotelli come back, he wants to start Liverpool now, everyone. So we'll see how that works.
I actually quite like that.
Yeah, we'll see if it actually happens, Jack. I've heard this before. Then, anyway, Schweinsteiger, Bonucci both missed. Bonucci can't score again, which is quite funny, really. Won't be taking penalties ever again now he's missed this one. Hummels, Kimmich and Boateng score for Germany. Giaccherini, Paralo and De Sciglio score for Italy. And then Darmian steps up. And it was one of those moments where you could just tell he was going to miss.
Yeah. I really wanted it to go to Buffon. Buffon to score or miss would have been amazing.
I thought Neuer was going to step up earlier, actually. Neuer quite likes a penalty. Didn't he take one for Bayern in a big tournament? I'm sure he did in the Champions League or something.
Yes, I think you can tell, the point you made about Darmian, it's not always that reliable, but you can tell often when players come up to the area, they make the walk, and they look very, very sort of nervous.
I thought Kimmich did, actually, on that.
Well, that's the thing. That's why it's not always easy to tell, but Kimmich looked very nervous, but finished well. But Darmian looked like he was petrified, and the penalty, made that look the case.
Hector scored it then, and Germany go through on penalties.
Which is, I mean, we're just dissecting each penalty for Jonas Hector, who was playing in the Bundesliga third tier not too long ago. It's quite a rise, and fair play to him for putting that final penalty in what was quite a tough shootout.
Yes, Muller, Ozil and Schweinsteiger missed. So when Hector's stepping up, it's a moment. So they go through Italy out. I think it's not the way you wanted to see Italy go out, really, but Germany aren't bad, so it's no disgrace.
Germany win a penalty shootout even when they're not trying to win one.
Yeah. What we'll do now, though, is move on to the final game. Then we'll talk about France versus Germany. France 2, Iceland 2. I feel like we covered quite a lot of Iceland in the last episode because we were very complimentary of them, actually, knocking England out. It was the game too far, Jack. They couldn't quite do it. France looked very good, too.
It's the end of the dream, innit?
Well, yeah, you've been a big proponent of Iceland.
I have. I must admit, when they went out, when the fans were doing the Viking thing, I was there doing it on my monitor. My neighbours probably thought them crazy.
What the?
Yeah, I mean that one.
Can you do one for us now?
No, I can't.
No, come on. I
vowed I'm never doing it until Iceland get to another major tournament.
No, in memory of them.
It just wouldn't sit right with me.
Do you want me to count you in for it, maybe?
No.
All right, we'll count you in for it.
I'm just getting a bit emotional, man.
We'll count you in for it. Keeno, can you do it with him?
No, I think that's a no. Right, let's talk about the game.
What? No, sorry. No, boys, no. We're not carrying on until Jack does the thing, right?
Are Iceland going to get to the World Cup?
3, 2, 1.
Oh!
Yes, there we go. Thank you. I appreciate
I didn't want to do it
much.
too loud, so I'm sorry, listeners, for deafening you.
I mean, it was quite growly, actually. It was more growly than I anticipated. So Iceland are out, France are through. Giroud, Pogba, Payet, Griezmann, and Giroud got a second, actually, in that game for their goals. Just, as I say, too much for Iceland, boys? Was it just too much?
I think what we've seen there is how bad England are. I hate to bring it back to England.
I mean, I think I said previously that the worst result now for England is if France demolish Iceland, and after 20 minutes it was 2-0, and I was like, oh no, this looks really bad for England now if France come out and just put them to it. On the plus point, boys, at least it wasn't us. So
Yeah.
True. Could have been worse, could have been us. Giroud then finally stepping up in the tournament. I mean, he's already got a goal to his name, but he's got a couple more. And the first goal was quite good. I quite like that. I won't go through all of them, but I did like his first goal. I mean, he strikes it low and hard from the left-hand side. Do you remember it?
I do. Sorry, I feel like it was just a classic Giroud goal in some.
Yeah, I mean, it went in. So is that classic Giroud?
Pretty much.
Maybe.
I feel like
I mean,
he
you've been backing
doesn't
Giroud recently.
score flashy goals.
Yeah. Pogba with a header, finally coming to the floor a little bit, probably doing something a little bit worthwhile.
He looked very relieved when that header went in. And
it was a powerful header.
Could he be unleashed now, though? Pogba. Could that be it now? Do you think we'll see the best of Pogba against Germany?
I feel like that is a coming-of-age kind of game for him, actually. I think that's a game that's made for him to kind of basically carry his nation to a final.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'd go with that. Payet, Griezmann and Giroud, as I say, rounded it off. Iceland just looked like they'd had their moment, and it was a shame because France were playing very well, and Iceland, while didn't really actually play that badly, just got undone by some very good French players. And there's not, I feel like out of all the games, ironically enough, you got into this one, there isn't that much to be said about it because it was quite convincing.
Yeah, I feel like at 2-0, France looked very comfortable. I think the 2 goals before half-time really did just kill Icelandic hopes. If it's 2-0, then there's still a degree of hope for them. I mean, they won the second half 2-1.
You think 4-0, they probably thought that's enough?
Well, I feel like at 2,
I'd agree
I feel
with
like at 2 it was kind of like, well, they scored 2 against England and there's still a half of football left. They could still score 2, and they did score 2. No. I feel like it was kind of... France had basically knocked over Iceland, and now they weren't letting them get back up and have a chance to get back into the game in the second half with those 2 late goals.
Yeah, I think we made Iceland look like Tesco and France made them look like Aldi. It was one of those. It was a shame. I should say, shop at Aldi. No disrespect. Just
England more of a Lidl.
The budget. The budget.
Budget, yeah. I genuinely don't feel like, boys, we need to go over that game too much. I don't know.
I mean, fair play to Iceland. End of a fairy tale. I feel like. For them, I hope they can kind of maintain this, get to the next Euros. I think it's still going to be a big ask for them. I think it'll be interesting to see if any of their players do get moves, biggish leagues in Europe. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen because I think a lot of their goals came from kind of their set pieces and just being well drilled. But I think you might see a few fairly kind of not necessarily high profile moves, but Icelandic players moving to more major European leagues than the kind of Nordic ones they're currently in.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Keeno, any points you want to make about France?
Not particularly. I think this coming game, France-Germany, has the potential to be an absolute classic.
I wish it was the final in some ways. Am I allowed to say to Welsh and Portuguese fans? I wish that Germany-France was the final.
Well, there is a danger, though, that the team that wins this will treat it a little bit like that. And then we'll still have a game to play, which will be the final.
And Wales will win it all.
But on that, though, do you feel as if Germany might feel like that now, even? They might feel like, do you know what, we've had a very tough game there, we got through it. And I don't know, if I'm a French player, I'm looking to capitalise on what has been pretty stagnant German performance so far in this tournament. It's not been the normal Germany performance. Thomas Muller hasn't stepped up. We've not seen much out of him. And I think at this stage, you'd really be expecting to. I fancy France for it, I've got to say. I really do fancy France for it.
I think Germany, that won't be an issue for them. I still feel like France probably have the edge over Germany, but I think this German side, it's so experienced. It's been in so many major international tournaments, of course, World Cup winners. I don't feel like any kind of degree of complacency following on from the Italy game should even be in their minds. And if it is, I feel like it's somewhat inexcusable for them.
Do we think, Keeno, do you think Germany will stick with the 3? Because that's going to be really interesting now.
It's difficult to say because I don't think France have played a team at the tournament who play that system. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did
Albania play it slightly?
Possibly, but there's definitely not to the level of say a Wales or an Italy. So
no.
there's there's no real form for Löw to go off. It all depends on their research and whether they feel that it will benefit them the most. I admit it will be very interesting. They've certainly got the centre halves to play it, and as France tend to play with that one up front, it could be a surefire way to nullify them and still to match them in the middle. It'd be very interesting.
Looking ahead, if say Wales and Germany both win, imagine if Germany show Wales so much respect and then go back to the 3 again. Could you imagine? Just I'm thinking about it now.
It may lead to a game similar to the Italy one, which actually might help Wales.
It suits Wales, yeah, I'd say the same.
Yeah.
Right then, quick prediction, Keeno, just a name.
France, Germany.
Yeah.
Can't see past the Germans. I'm sorry. I think although they're not on form.
Jackie, you going France? Did you say
4-3 classic?
Okay.
I'd love a big scoring game between two big dogs where rather than kind of the Italy v Germany, let's see who can out defend each other. Both teams just go for the kind of one big.
They go tete-a-tete. Yeah.
I'm going 2-1, and the winner to be late in the game. Pogba, beauty. Oh. That'd be good. It'd be a moment.
The crowd goes wild.
Which would then set up, I think, based on our predictions, I think it would actually set up a Portugal-France final. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Right then, that does bring us to the end of the quarter-final chat.
Twitter questions,
We've got some Twitter questions. Hang on, all right, we'll get to the Twitter questions.
Just checking, I thought you were ending the show.
No. We've got another feature yet. we haven't really listened, I'm sorry. Twitter questions. Keeno, do you want to fire some questions at mine and Jack's general direction?
I will fire some questions at you. The first one is a bit of a lull.
Okay.
Let me just go and find
No, I don't think Roy should be next England manager. Thank you for asking. No one asked that.
No, it's not a lull. Oh, no, we'll leave that one. Actually, we're gonna come to that later.
You'll never know, listeners.
Do you guys? Philip Stothers, thought I'd drop him in there.
Oh, go on.
A loyal fan. Yeah. Did you see the stat that England have beaten all the semi-finalists within the last 12 months? Yes, I did, and it doesn't make me feel any better.
Is that more depressing? Generally,
I think so.
The fact that Roy could get wins again, so we could have won the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe we should get Roy back. Maybe it's not too late.
Make England great again.
It's never too
Very
late,
good question here from Rhys Jones, who asks, are the Euros in their new format more exciting? And then he also says, are they more or less exciting than the World Cup? So it's kind of two questions there. Do you like the new format this year? What do you think, reflecting on it?
I don't like it. There we are. I've said it.
Why?
Because I think to allow 3 teams out of each group, it genuinely is for in England, for example, it's easier to get through the group than to go out, and I don't necessarily think that should be the way it is. It also made some of the games quite dull. Like the second game,
you had teams playing for draws.
The third game to the tournament, right, should be teams going for broke, and we didn't see enough of that, in my opinion. We saw too many games where it was like Portugal not being an example. Sorry, who was the team that knew that they could draw their last game and it'd be fine? It was someone. Was it Turkey?
No, because Turkey didn't go through.
Slovakia?
Slovakia. It was Slovakia. Of course it was, against England, who literally just went. That's why it's so annoying. Who literally just went, we'll just defend them because we know this will be enough. That is not what I want to see. So dull. So no, I don't like it.
I want more teams to qualify for the tournament, and let's have more. Well, no, more groups. I was about to say let's have more groups. Let's have 2 more groups so that everyone's playing for top 2.
That's called the World Cup, though.
It is. I mean, I feel like the World Cup always has infinitely more prestige. At the same time, I like the idea of getting more smaller teams involved in Europe. And I don't know if you guys know this, but from Euro 2020, obviously, I don't know if you know, but there's the UEFA Friendly League system coming in. Well, all the UEFA club members are split into 4 tiers of 4 divisions. There's kind of 16 leagues, and there's 4, for each tier. The winners of each of those divisions, all 16 of them, who haven't qualified for the Euros at the end of the Euro qualifying, instead of the 30 place teams in the qualifying going through, the winners of the Friendly League play each other for spots. But what this means is, in the lowest of the low tier groups, where you have, say, Gibraltar v Andorra and San Marino, one of those teams only has to win 2 games to get to a European Championship.
Is that a good idea?
I want a tiny. I think it's cool that from kind of 2020 onwards, we will have 2 teams who are in the bottom 2 friendly leagues. Because the way the playoffs, you go to the tournament, so you will always have 2 really small nations there.
I hate that.
I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, I'll tell you why. Because I think that the the qualifying process for this Euros has been one of the most exciting that I can remember. I remember and sort of will do and recall some of these games from the qualifying in a way that I probably didn't with, the World Cup.
I don't like the third place
2008.
playoffs though in the qualifying.
Why?
But
I just don't like playoffs in general.
But they've had that for a while. My point is that I think the fact that it was so open meant that teams who previously might not have thought they had a chance and maybe then didn't try as much, tried a lot harder, and it made for more exciting games in the qualifying. But then, and this is why I'm sort of mixed on it, I agree that I think what's made the Euros so great in the past is that it is the creme de la creme of...
Best of the best. That's what it should be. Bar some of the,
like the South American teams and stuff. It's almost the best of world football. And
Greece were the best team in 2004.
And straight from the off, there is top quality football. There's no messing about. It's the best teams playing, and any misstep that they might make, any loss, any draw that shouldn't be, that can matter. And I think that has been lost this tournament a little bit. So where to go from here, I'm not really that sure, because I do like the way that the qualifying works.
More groups, but I think in the main tournament.
I think possibly that could be the way to fix it.
Well, let me read. Well, the problem I've got with that is that the group we had with Group B last time round, right, in 2012, Netherlands, Denmark, Germany, Portugal, as a group. Like, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good group. Spain, Italy, Ireland, Croatia. Again, it's a pretty good group. It's a shame that we didn't have that. I will say, one of the groups last time round was Poland, Greece, Russia, Czech Republic. That seems odd, doesn't it? Seems like a lot of weak teams there. But yeah, I don't like it. I wish it was the best of the best. I don't think we should be giving out pity spots.
I'm looking forward to seeing some smaller nations qualify from 2020. I think
why? Just so they get battered in the main tournament.
Because I think teams like Iceland, who previously never stood a chance of proving with this tournament, that they do deserve a chance to play with the big dogs.
But they earned their spot by beating the Netherlands. It wasn't like they were gifted.
Oh, of course, but from next year onwards with the new format, they finishing third wouldn't get you that spot.
Maybe.
Anyway, that's different to the main tournament, the qualifying.
We've gone quite in depth there. Should we have another question?
Go on, let's have more. I hope there was some.
How long have we been recording for? Blimey.
I know.
Question.
If another one for Felix Dovis, who's submitted quite a few. I will say
we should
are we
following him back? We should follow him back, Jack. You should probably follow him.
I will say there are a lot of Premier League questions. A lot of, for instance, Zlatan and potential Henrik Mkhitaryan transfers to Man United. We will get into that in future shows. So hold those questions for now, and we'll try and deal with them all on a later show.
We'll be doing 5 preview shows for the Premier League. We will cover that in depth. Don't worry.
This is a really good question, though, from Philip. So he says, my genuine question is, would any of you have the guts to take a penalty? If so, what place in the order would you like? So in the For the Fans penalty shootout, how we working
I'll
it?
I'll take the winning one. Because how hard is it to hit from 12 yards?
I want the first one. Give me it.
Ben can set the tone. I will hopefully continue the process, and Jack can be the one that grabs the headlines in a silly manner, and that also leaves some room for a silly celebration from Jack.
Look forward to it.
What would you do, Jack? What would be your celebration? We had a question from @Dr. What would be your celebration if you to score the winning penalty in the Euros?
I'd run to the corner flag.
No,
pull out the corner flag.
No,
and throw it like a javelin at the opposition goalkeeper who's on the floor crying.
I mean, they'd be arrested.
That might see you banned.
I mean, it'd be worth it.
I mean, you'd retire on the spot.
You'd be a household name in every pub quiz for the next 50 years.
To be fair, Jack, you'd have just won the Euros. I think you'd have been all right. I don't think you'd have to commit a murder.
It's not a murder. It's just throwing a corner flag at someone.
All right, yeah, fine. Who was the footballer that threw the corner flag at the goalkeeper?
Who was the footballer that won his team the Euros and then simultaneously killed the opposition keeper?
Yeah, which professional footballer disgraced his nation by attempting
by winning the Euros?
I'd pull the flag out of my conquered foe and then attach my nation's flag to the end of it and run around the pitch with a blood dripping from it. Maybe I've gone too far there. I don't know.
It's very Game of Thrones.
Too far.
This is what football in Roman times would have been like.
I think that'll do. Oh,
Be careful with this name, because that sounded like you were going to go somewhere else with it for a second.
Yeah. No, I wasn't. This nice person asks, player who has disappointed you the most at the tournament.
Can I say
All of the England team?
Should we exclude England for the?
Yeah, excluding England.
I think you could look at a number of Spanish players. I mean, poor. I don't know. I think I probably expected a little bit more out of someone like Courtois as well. He's gone out with a bit of a damp squib. Didn't do anything particularly good. Anyone else?
Lewandowski.
Obviously,
I think Lewandowski.
We've already mentioned him.
I think actually, I'd rather. I know he's in the semi-final, but I want to see more from Ronaldo still.
One cross. I wonder if you can double that in the game against Wales.
Will he make a tackle? If Ronaldo makes a tackle, I want to know
Please
about
tweet
it.
us. Let us know that
yeah.
cared enough.
Indeed. So I think that does bring us to the end. You can follow us all on Twitter. We never do this, so let's just mention it. Keeno, what's your Twitter, mate?
My Twitter is KE8NO.
Jack?
Very simple.
Jackzeh. JAKZEH. Can't spell my own name.
Brilliant. Dr. Benji. Just DOCTORBENJY. Cheers. And of course, we are at For The Fan Show on Twitter. All our Twitters in the description of that, if that makes it easier for you. YouTube.com/For The Fan Show if you'd want to go and subscribe over there. iTunes For The Fan Show, we're available there too. And of course, ForTheFanShow.com for every available link. Keeno, thank you for joining me. Are you all right, by the way? I didn't ask you at the start.
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. Pleasure.
Bit of a bumper show today.
Oh, yeah, you know. It's the Euros. There's only 3 left. Make the most of it. Jack, thanks for being here.
No worries.
And I and the boys will see you again very soon for our semi-final review. It's nearly over. They think it's all over. Not quite yet. We love with Kev. Until next time, from us at For The Fan Show. Goodbye. You want to kill people for the fun?
Yeah. That was quite gruesome, Jack.
You are out of control, man.